as you can see, we are finally up. I don't know that we're prepared for the PowerPoint. Is Mr. Jones, is he still working on that, or are we able, or you don't know?
He's on the phone.
Are we able to do PowerPoint, Bob?
Yeah, here.
Okay. All right, well then let's start off the meeting. This is Monday, April 20th, 2015, our regular meeting. Everyone can stand for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Bates, may we have a roll call, please?
Dave Gravel. Here. Nancy Sherlock.
Here.
Fred Kerner. Here. Victor Cicero is not here tonight. Jeffrey Johnson. Here. Corinne Chronicle.
Here.
Ted Parker is not here.
He's on the phone.
He's here.
Oh, he's on the phone. Sorry. Todd Sanford. Here. Debbie Smith.
Here.
Nicholas is not here tonight. Sean Kilkenny.
Here.
Tom Bates and Robert Wilson.
Okay. Next, we'll move right on with the Morrisville Intermediate School Audubon Club. If I have that correctly. They're here to do a presentation this evening. Andy, you're the first speaker. Is that different or part of?
Part of.
Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Annie Milionis,
Wait, no, try that one.
Yeah. Good evening.
Yeah.
Pressed it before, it didn't come up. My name is Annie Milionis, 142 West Henderson Avenue. Tonight it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you a group of wonderful students that I have had the privilege to work with over the last few weeks. They are the MV Aviators from our school here in Morrisville, and they have been working as an environmental group, primarily this year, to make Morrisville an Audubon bird town. They are under the direction and advisement of a terrific teacher from our school, Mrs. Elizabeth Glathbury, and I'd like to introduce her, and she'll take over from here. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you leave, what is the MV?
Morrisville.
Oh, just Morrisville. Okay.
So this is our third year doing a symposium club with Wheelabrator Falls, and actually our representative from Wheelabrator in the back is Karen Grattan. And each year Wheelabrator challenges 15 different schools across the eastern seaboard to look at an environmental problem that's local and try to come up with a solution. And this year, one of the things that they asked us to do was to do an audit of the town and find out what environmental practices were there, and pick something that we wanted to really work towards. And we'd already had a 3-year plan working with different types of pollinators. So we did bees, last year we did butterflies, this year we're on birds, next year we'll have to find another bee. So one of the things that we found was this Bird Town program through the Audubon Society, and we got really excited about it because it just seems like a fantastic program, and we're really excited that a group of middle school students and one high schooler today, that a group of middle school students from Morrisville could be here presenting a resolution to you. That just is huge for us. So I'll pass it over to them.
If you have to move the microphone down a little bit, honey, you can.
Thank
There we
you.
go.
We are Morrisville Middle Senior High School's Science Symposium team. Our representatives are Sam Koshka, Yayla Duyan, Johanna Gutierrez, Luz Maria Jimenez, Emily Eisengrine, Griffin Kiln, Bethany McWana, Faith McWana, Ethan Miller, Danita Thomas, and Helen Zuckerman, as well as other team members who are not able to be here tonight.
Thank you.
The Audubon Society has specific requirements for towns to become certified. Some of these requirements are having community members sign the Healthy Yard Pledge, sharing information about the program, hosting guest speakers, reviewing plant ordinances, and having a community event.
We recognize the importance of our neighborhood's environment, including saving our native songbirds, protecting our pollinators, and improving the habitats that they live in. There are over 117 common species of birds in Pennsylvania. Making Morrisville an Audubon bird town is important because Morrisville is located along the migratory path of many species.
Our goal is to inform Morrisville residents about native birds and the natural resources we can provide for them. By encouraging people to plant native plants and restore the habitats on public and private properties, we can provide food and shelter for our birds. We also want to encourage community members to get involved by taking the Healthy Yard Pledge and certifying their yards as Audubon bird habitats. Additionally, we want to educate people to discourage the use of pesticides and herbicides, as well as inform pet owners that cats are one of the biggest killers of songbirds. Every outdoor cat is estimated to kill over 50 birds per year.
The benefits of Bird Town to Morrisville are that the program will increase pride in our town and home marketability. Putting Morrisville on the map as an environmental friendly town will also help to increase property values, where our costs for mowing and maintenance will be reduced, and our air and water will be cleaner, where native plants will also help to reduce runoff.
Morrisville qualifies as a bird town because we meet more than the needed requirements for the Audubon Bird Town application. For starters, we have 56.3 acres of open space and parks. We have several environmental organizations, including the MEAC, who work together to improve our borough. In addition to containing a portion of an important bird area, we have also recognized as a National Heritage Landmark town. Here in front of us, you will see the canal, Greystone Woods, and the Morrisville Riverfront Preserve.
There's a yearly fee of $450, which we've already raised and plan to continue to do so to fund this program. We must also get at least 50 residents to sign the Healthy Yard Pledge. Audubon asks that the borough post Audubon literature on the town's webpage, cable station, and in public buildings. We will also receive bird town signs and a banner to be displayed around the town. Finally, we request the approval of our proposed resolution. Here is a sample newsletter and some sample literature.
Residents are asked to sign the Audubon Healthy Yard Pledge. This pledge asks people to plant more native plants, remove invasive species, reduce stormwater runoff, provide shelter, food, and water sources for birds, reduce the use of pesticides and herbicides, and learn more about nature while enjoying the great outdoors.
So far, we have accomplished many of our goals. We have partnered with groups such as Wheelabrator Falls, the Bucks County Conservation District, the Penn State Master Gardeners, 21st Century Community Learning Centers Grant, Bucks County Technical High School, Toll Brothers, and Pennsylvania Audubon Society. We built birdhouses and duck boxes for our school district properties and borough properties and planted native plants, trees, and shrubs in our courtyard at school.
On February 7th, we hosted a community event called Saving Our Songbirds, which was a huge success. Approximately 200 local residents attended our event. Community Day hosted 18 stations that people could visit to gain information and skills about sustainability and birds. Some stations included birdhouse building, sponsored by Toll Brothers, birdhouse painting, sponsored by Home Depot, 2 types of birdseed bomb making, nesting materials, and peanut butter bird feeders. Master gardeners and members from the Audubon attended as well. Mary Ellen Noonan from the Bucks County Conservation District had a bird migration game station. Our community day was mentioned in 3 different newspapers, the Courier-Times, Morrisville Times, and the Advance.
For more information, you can reach us through our Facebook page, Make Morrisville a Bird Town, or you can follow our progress on Instagram and Twitter at MV_aviators. To learn more about the Bird Town program, visit the website, pa.audubon.org/bird-town. Thank you for your attention. We would like to know what our status of our resolution is, and at this time, we'll take any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Actually, this question would be for Elizabeth or Annie. Do we have a copy of the resolution?
Yes, it was sent in with the original letter asking for them to do a presentation back in end of March.
And if you need copies, if you need more copies of the resolution, or if you need a copy of our PowerPoint, I'd be happy to send that over.
I brought the resolution.
Okay, thank you.
Has everyone seen the resolution? Are you prepared to put it on?
Yes, I am.
Fred or?
I'll second it.
Oh,
Well, that wasn't a motion yet, I just.
Okay.
Everybody.
I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Let's see. I'd like to read the resolution first, okay? And then we can have a motion to, it says, whereas Morrisville Borough recognizes that birds are indicators of environmental health and pledges to provide resources for them in the form of maintaining public open spaces and parks. And whereas Audubon, Pennsylvania has created Bird Town to help municipalities educate their residents, schools, and businesses about birds. Whereas the students of the Science Symposium team of the Morrisville School District and their advisors recognize that Bird Town could be a powerful tool to increase green living, promote a culture of conservation, in our community, and provide positive social, economic, and ecological outcomes. Whereas Morrisville Borough recognizes that using native plants, reducing stormwater runoff and energy use, and reducing the use of synthetic chemicals can help restore natural systems and ecological integrity. Whereas the citizens of Morrisville Borough desire a healthy life that includes sustainable green space for the people, plants, and wildlife of future generations. And whereas an elected representative, whereas elected representatives of Morrisville Borough, we have a responsibility to provide leadership which will seek community-based sustainable solutions to strengthen our community, increase property values, enhance the quality of life, and now therefore be it resolved that to engage in new efforts to live lighter on the land and provide a healthier environment for the people and birds of our borough, Morrisville Borough wishes to commit to ecological initiatives, and by doing so we will be recognized as an Audubon Bird Town. Be it further resolved by the Borough Council of Morrisville Borough that we do hereby authorize the students and advisors of the Science Symposium team of the Morrisville School District to serve as Morrisville's agent for the Audubon Bird Town process. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
1 second, please. Debbie, you the second?
Sure, yeah.
Questions or comments on this motion? I want to, yes. Yes, thank you. But I also have a question too. All right, so if the public, anyone from the public that would like to come forward to have any comments on this particular motion, please come forward now. Because normally we would do it a little bit after, but since we have the students, we're doing it sooner. No one has any? Oh, okay.
Annie Milionis, 142 West Hendrickson Avenue. I think this is an important step for this borough to take. We would join other boroughs in Bucks County in doing this. We would be the 10th borough in the county to join in this type of endeavor. And I think it's positive for everyone. It gives the residents of the town something to work together as a community, and it allows the kids to lead us as adults into the next millennia and into the future in a very positive and very meaningful way. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one question. The 450, oh, sorry.
Bill Farrell, I agree with having a program. The only problem I have is I got the fattest rats in town, they call squirrels. I buy bird feeders and they chew the wire off. In addition, every now and then there's a hawk in my area. And you'll see them taking a squirrel wherever you go, or a bird. I guess I should try and get rid of the squirrels, but they seem to be coming back. They're nothing but a rat with a tail. And I've had 3 or 4 bird feeders, metal, chewed by these so-called bird feeders. And everybody says they're squirrel-proof. There's nothing squirrel-proof, people. That's all.
Okay, do you have any response to that, Elizabeth? I was curious to know if you have some special magic potion.
I don't have a special magic potion, but we're encouraging the hawks too. So by encouraging this bird town endeavor, we're really helping hawks who would help these rats with especially long bushy tails.
Okay, thank you. The $450 yearly fee that was mentioned, is that something that would be the borough's financial
Nope.
responsibility?
No, our whole goal with this is to do everything so that you guys don't have to worry about it. We will be the contact people, we will raise the fee. So far, as long as we are a part of the Wheelabrator Symposium, every year they give us a startup fee and that would cover it alone, but we also do fundraising. We raised some money, we got some donations at our Community Day event. We'll be having a plant sale sometime in May, so as long as we're involved in this endeavor, we plan to cover that fee for the borough.
Would that include the signs as well, or?
The signs are included in the $450 fee.
I can't speak for our borough manager or all of council, but I would think that we would be extremely helpful to you by putting them up.
I hope so.
Okay.
That'd be terrific.
Any other questions from the audience? Any questions from borough council?
No, I just want to say I attended your event in February. It was very nice, well done, did a great job. I was there for your luncheon last year with Wheelabrators, did a wonderful job with that, so keep moving along, okay? I'm really proud of you guys. Thank you.
Yes, I'd like to say thank you too for all of the various partners that you mentioned, including Wheelabrator here this evening. Waste management. Wheelabrator, okay. Yeah, I guess I should have mentioned, yeah, okay. Sticky subject. All right, we have a motion, we have a first and a second. Roll call, please, Ms. Bates.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Chronicle?
Yes.
Mr. Parker? Mr. Sanford?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Kerner?
Yes.
Ms. Sherrill?
Yes. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the students, to their advisors, to Annie, and to the partners. Appreciate it. So we look forward to the signs. All right, so do you want to take just 30 seconds to disperse, or are they staying around, or? Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, did you want to get a, maybe a picture first?
That would be great.
I think that we should, a picture over on the steps.
Mind going back up?
About the flag.
Pretty impressive. Very nice.
stay here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, you're welcome. Okay, next, we're still in the public comment section. The next person is Tim Jones, please.
Wait, he's got a proclamation first?
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. I'm sorry. The mayor has a proclamation he'll be reading first.
Good evening, everyone. Recently, I've partnered with MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, to take part in the Power 21 program, which makes available to parents resources to help discuss drinking alcohol, and sets aside April 21st as the day for parents to make a point to discuss alcohol-related issues with food dumpsters. It's a project the folks at MAD have developed to encourage parents to talk to their children about the dangers of drinking alcohol. Please go to mad.org and register, and then download the Power Talk 21. You can even win prizes when you download the booklets. I believe the proclamation does a nice job of summing up the program. And of course, I want to thank Hema and the Courier Times for running the article on the Power 21. Whereas the Borough of Morrisville recognizes the importance of parents talking with their children about alcohol to reduce the risk and dangers posed to them and their community, whereas high school students who use alcohol and other substances are 5 times more likely to drop out of school or believe good grades are not important. And whereas 27% of middle school students try alcohol before graduating from the 8th grade, significantly increasing the risk that they will develop alcohol problems later in life. Teen alcohol kills 4,700 people each year, and that's more than the other illegal drugs combined. Whereas Power Talk 21, started by Mothers Against Drunk Driving in 2011, and established that April 21st, 2015 to encourage parents and caregivers to embrace the important role of influencing America's youth and decisions about drinking alcohol. And whereas I urge all residents to join in the local and national effort to raise awareness of the importance of parents and teens talking about alcohol to reduce the risk and dangers posed to teens and communities. Now therefore, I, Mayor David Bella, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, April 21st to be Power Talk 21 Day in the Borough of Morrisville. Thank you.
Nancy, before we proceed into our motions, I'd like to add one for tonight. A motion to authorize the appraisal for the MR Rider property. Under new business.
Well, we haven't met yet with the school officials, which that meeting should happen this Thursday.
You need the appraisal, right, to...
That's probably what will be decided at that meeting, but I think that we have to, I think we should be meeting first with our attorneys and our engineers.
We have to know how much on both ends, right? I mean, that's what the appraisal is for, that would be the next step. That's what the county is saying when we spoke with them. You would need both on each side when you sit down, I would assume.
It's my understanding we didn't need the appraisal before we sat down, but I think I'm assuming the appraisal is the first step, yes.
So I can see why we can't get that in process. By the time the meeting's over, it would be ready to move, correct? The county also sent down copies, I'll pass out to everyone, of approved appraisers that work with them. And one happens to be the Indian Valley Appraisal Company, which did our pool appraisal. So this is a list from them. So I'll pass it down.
I'm sorry, who sent this down?
From the commission, from the county, from Open Space.
Did they send it to, who did they send it to?
They sent it through the MEAC and us, the ones that are working with them. Hold on, let me make sure I pass enough down.
Ms. Shaw, if there is that, I've used Indian Valley almost in every municipal function I have. They're good appraisal.
Yeah, well, when the commissioners came down, we asked them, and they said they would send down a list of recommendations as to the county. Do I have enough passed down? For everybody? You probably already have that, Sean.
That doesn't.
I'll hang on to this then. And this is the motion. Pass it down, thank you.
That will be. The motion we just had regarding the approval of the resolution, the Audubon, is 10D. So this would be 10E. Motion to authorize the appraisal for the MRA of the property.
I'm sorry, what's the number?
But,
10D?
I'm sorry?
10E?
D was the bird town.
D was the bird town, so this would be E.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think we should be more specific at this time, though. If everybody's in approval, we're just using the Indian Valley. So the motion could reflect that.
If you like, yeah. I mean, I was, like I said, when it came through, I saw that name, and I do know I pulled the one that was done for the pool, and they, did an okay job with that. They were, good company.
Nancy, I'd like to add a motion too, if this is the time to do that. We have a vacant spot in the Landmark Towns Board of Directors for the the alternate elected official. And I just wanted to see if we could get that spot filled either this meeting or perhaps next meeting.
So it'd be one of the councils, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Could be mayor too.
Is there any,
Just
Yeah,
like a-
elected official.
okay.
Consuming.
It's the alternate, correct?
Alternate, correct.
All right. So are you asking for that motion tonight?
If we can. If we could ask for.
Someone interested here, or, I mean, this is the first I'm hearing about this. So.
I was just asking if someone on this board is interested in that spot.
Okay, so maybe,
You mean as far as inserting a name into it tonight, is that what you're saying? You'd like to-
I'm saying, if we're putting this into a motion, I think we need to find out who's interested in doing this.
I could do
Is
it.
it Corinne, or? She mentioned?
Fred said he was interested.
All right, Fred can be the alternate. All right, so that's a motion.
Fred, the alternate?
10F,
Huh?
motion to appoint Fred Kerner as alternate public official. Is that
Elected official.
elected official? To the Landmark Towns Board. Anything else?
Not on my end.
Okay. All right, now,
I actually have a couple too, if you remember, I emailed a few things in, but I can.
motions?
Well, I'll bring that one later.
Well, if we're gonna have motions to adjourn, let's do it now.
Well, I asked for a rain date for the park cruise.
I'm sorry for what?
I guess we need to do that.
I just thought it was cleaner because we already have it for the Labor Day picnic, so.
Okay.
Dave, can you turn your mic on? Sorry, I
It is
can't.
on.
Is it?
The 12th, September 12th.
Same time, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's the same time. It'll be more information as well.
All right. Okay, this will be 10G, right? Something else, Dave?
Well, no, I think the other thing I'll just, we can talk about it, maybe discussions all, you know.
Okay. All right, so now I can have Mr. Jones come forward.
Mm-hmm.
Please, thank you for your patience.
Tim Jones, 350 North Pennsylvania Avenue. The reason for my visit tonight is actually twofold. The first one kind of leads into the second one. The first issue I have is I've been to Borough Hall twice and had voiced some concerns with the alleys behind some of the properties, specifically mine, that runs between Franklin and the library parking lot, and then loops around and comes back out onto Franklin. If you take a drive down there, you'll probably be reminded of a TV show somewhere of a war zone, say Beirut, with the potholes being deep and vast, and it rarely gets maintained. I can believe, I've lived there almost 9 years and have never, ever seen anybody put stone in that alley. They attempt to plow it very poorly, and I was told that they don't put stone down because the stone will run off in people's yards. I asked about paving. We won't pave it because the water will run off in people's yards. Those to me are cop-outs. They are cop-outs because we don't have the money to pave it, we don't have the money to stone it, we don't have the manpower to do either because we're too busy working for the MMA. Now I understand that the MMA pays a lot better and pays a lot of the road department's bills. That's not an excuse to let your infrastructure and your roads deteriorate. The second part of my reason for being here tonight is the school board wants the borough to buy MR Ryder property, to turn into a park, open space, or more property for the borough to maintain, which they don't have time to maintain what property they already have. And if you've ever noticed what a park gathers in this town, it's not wildflowers and pretty songbirds. It's little baggies, it's hypodermic needles, it's bad people and bad places and bad things. Now before me, the middle school kids in the Audubon Society had a brilliant idea. And while I'm sitting listening to their speech, a light bulb went off in my head. Why not let the school board maintain their own property and give it to the Audubon Society? There's a solution. The borough is out no money, we don't have to maintain it, and the school board gets to keep their problem. That's a win-win for everybody all across the board. So, if the borough manager could possibly look into, at some point in some time, maintaining, doing something to these alleyways that look like a cluster bomb went off on them, that would be greatly appreciated. Because I'm tired of buying my own stone and filling in the potholes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Next, we have Debbie Colgan.
Hi, Debbie Colgan, 120 West Hendrickson Avenue. I'm actually here on behalf of the Morrisville Environmental Advisory Council. And first off, we would like to thank all the volunteers that came out on Saturday for the riverfront cleanup. We had 20 people show up. We got a lot of junk out of there. It was really great. We really appreciate everyone showing up year after year. And what we'd like to do today is to give you an update on what's going on at the riverfront so that you can see what we've been doing over the past 4 years. We're really pleased to announce that the completion of our 2014 restoration projects at the Morrisville Riverfront Preserve. Habitat and people-friendly improvements to the upper lot of the preserve now provide a pleasant entryway to the riverfront for the southern neighborhoods of Morrisville. A protected berm that runs down along the property border was strengthened, 26 native evergreen trees were planted, and a path meanders through towards the river. Morazzo's North River completed the work and provided an enormous amount of assistance. The project was funded through the Bucks County Delaware Riverfront Grant Program, the PICO Green Region Grant Open Space Program, the Bucks County Airport Authority, and donations. The lower 7 acres of the preserve along the riverfront was planted with 240 native trees such as maple, sycamore, and river birch. The trees are protected with wire mesh caging. The Delaware Riverkeeper Network's restoration specialist, John Neisted, led the project. Enviroscapes Incorporated provided the trees and planting services, and funding was provided by the Bucks County Delaware Riverfront Program, the Tree Vitalized Watershed Program, and donations, with DRN obtaining additional grants on our behalf. The MEAC is really proud to have secured $110,000 in goods and services for the project since 2010, paid for with grants and donations. The borough has provided some administrative support and gave us an early contribution of $300. We also want to thank council for your continued support to make this project a reality. Now that good weather's arrived, we need volunteers to help keep our planted trees weed-free and the walking paths open. Beginning May 5th, we will meet at the preserve sign every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Also, we'll continue our restoration efforts, such as collecting and planting seeds of native plants and flowers that are suitable for the riverfront. Seasonal guided nature walks by Marianne Borch of the Pennsylvania Master Naturalist Program will resume, and with the first walk scheduled for Saturday, May 2nd at 10 a.m. The preserve provides yet another attraction in Morrisville for residents, visitors, businesses, and potential home buyers, like Greystones, the Canal, Summerseat, the Dog Park, Williamson Park. The preserve has visitors from both within and outside the borough. Investing in a high-quality park system and capitalizing on our environmental and cultural resources spurs economic activity and improves quality of life. Recent work by council shows that you understand the value of preserving and improving our green infrastructure and public spaces. The EAC applauds your actions, which strive to create a greener, better future for Morrisville Borough. Thank you.
Thank you.
And anyone need any brochures?
Debbie, can I just confirm that when you meet, that's down South Delmore, right?
Yeah, down
Okay.
Delmore, Philadelphia Avenue,
Okay.
Preserve sign.
You said beginning May 5th at 5 o'clock?
No, May 5th at 6 o'clock.
Or 6 o'clock?
Every Tuesday at 6. We're going to be starting in May. We'll be down there. Just, and, walking the paths. Just, if you want to go down and just walk the path, that helps a lot, just keeping moving.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks to the MEAC. Next, we have Jane Berger.
Madam President, if I may, the first speaker was Annie Milanonis, and I think you asked a question for presentation, but I think Mrs. Milanonis might have some other things to discuss for public comment. So I'm just wondering, since she was on the list and her was twofold, could she speak before me since she's on the list before me?
You can go, and then she can speak after you, Jane.
Okay.
Whatever. All she had to do was give me a high sign, and I'd let her back up.
I'm sure that you would, but since I was there, I would do that.
Thank you.
The library rental policy. Would have been good to have the agenda meeting discuss it because it was tabled last month because councilors got it, they didn't have a chance to review it and go over it. And I'm not sure if parts of it, particularly the rental agreement, had been reviewed by your solicitor, but you might look at it again.
I was going to say, before you go any further, I had considered actually taking that off the agenda this evening.
Okay.
I have not heard anything from anybody on council as to their concerns. Debbie did mention at the last meeting that she thought there was something that was wrong, but I didn't hear exactly what it was, and no one else has come forward with any other comments.
Okay.
So, that being said, I don't believe we'll be working on that this evening. I don't believe we'll vote on that this evening. I'd like to have it pulled.
Okay, thank you for that, but I don't know if you're going to have an agenda meeting in May or whatever, but there is no law that prevents draft documents being shared for input, and obviously since there's no meeting to Tuesday, you can kind of hear what's going on in the comment tonight. Again, you might want to look at the lease agreement. It seems to be one-sided. The person or the organization using it is going to do, but there's nothing that says what the library is responsible for. For example, a bathroom in working order with the necessary Paper products, lighting, inside and out, will there be heat in the winter? I mean, certain basic things you may take for granted, but in this litigious society, we don't want to do that. Coming in to check right before the meeting is fine if everything's okay, but it seems to make more sense for someone from the library staff to early in the day to make sure that there's no problems with the use. And in other agreements, and other matters, whether it's a borough manager or some other administrator, they may say that person or their designee. I read throughout that everything seems to be only the librarian, so you might want to look at that. And the lease agreement did not seem to have a signature for anyone on the borough side as well. And I guess finally, since that is the lower level library room for community, I'm just wondering why Morrisville-based nonprofit organizations have to pay a fee. I can understand you want to charge taxpayer or not taxpayer, political organizations, that's fine, but it's taxpayers who are nonprofit local groups, you might want to do that. And I am sorry Mr. Cicero is not here because the way he chastised and lashed out at the public I thought was totally unprofessional. 3 of you sit on the library board and you don't legally have to invite members to come to the board when you're discussing something of particular interest to the community. But we all know the January notice that goes out just gives time, date, and place of all the organizations. So, regarding MR Rider and demolition costs, I believe Mrs. Sherlock, you raised the question of why the borough is quote unquote the buyer and not the seller. If you recall, you've been on council for 3 previous land development projects. There was a Renaissance building, the Cloverleaf, and there's horrendous apartments next to it. In all of those projects, the borough paid and made arrangements for the demolition as the buyer. That wasn't on the seller. And of course, that factors into the selling price. And working with the RDA, we always look for other sources of funds. But part of that came from the, I think, 2002-2004 cap improvement. Briefly, Mr. Kilkenny, I know you're extremely busy. I do want to correct a misstatement of last month, which was also in the newspaper, where you stated that both sheriffs of Montgomery and Bucks County, I think, were practicing attorneys. They're not, and neither one has a lawyer. I do know Duke Donnelly in Bucks County, and a personal friend of Mr. Bono in Montgomery County. They both came out of law enforcement and were police chiefs prior to that. But I certainly do salute you for stepping up to the plate and putting your name out there on the ballot in Montgomery County. As for the Little League, I'm sure you will work out an amicable fee structure with them. It is a well-run program, but when the fee schedule was implemented, and I'm sure Mrs. Sherlock will remember with me, 51% was chosen for Morrisville-based. That's the least percentage, and have it be a majority. It's unfortunate the last several years there weren't looks at rosters and looking at how that percentage was changing. However, if you're not Morrisville-based, it simply means you don't get exemption from fees. Obviously, Morrisville-based taxpayers are already paying for a lot of those costs, so if you're not Morrisville-based, the fees kicked in. A fee per participant probably works out better than the $200 per field per use that had originally been thought of. The way it was presented was deplorable, unacceptable. I'm sure it won't happen again. Not only look at this year, but look forward to next year what's fair and equitable. But if it's time to move past the procedure that can't be undone and do something that works for the Little League families in and out of the borough. T-ball fields. Again, Mr. Sherlock, I'm sure you remember with me that when Ed Cologne was on the board of directors, he came before council, asked that the T-ball fields be switched. 2 T-ball fields would be where the newer ones are next to Imagination Island, and they would give up the previous T-ball fields that are between the old concession stand and the levee. It was not an expansion, it was a swap. And the reason for that is baseball was trying to get all their fields more closely together. There wasn't anything you could do with the senior minor league field because it's kind of out there and not a place to go for it. But that's what that was all about. And council agreed to that. We were assured T-ball has no pitcher's mound, doesn't need a backstop, and when baseball was not in session, it would be available for youth soccer and pickup games and just other use by the community. So I think that's a little bit of history on how some things happened with baseball, and thank you.
Thank you. Just want to, the one thing you mentioned with regards to the demo of the buildings, yes, you're absolutely right. Those situations were done with the RDA. The RDA is not
Right, but the
necessarily-
RDA did not pay for the demolitions of
No,
those.
but
They
the
came from us.
RDA was involved with from start to finish.
And
Which
they
makes a
can
difference.
be involved as a resource for companies who will give a good demolition rate. They always work cooperatively, but it's not a formal project. But my response was, in connection with your thoughts that the seller of the property should pay and not the buyer. So I pointed out all three projects, the costs were borne by the buyer and not the seller.
Those three projects were, yes, but that doesn't mean every future project needs to be. So,
Well,
thank
that
you.
remains to be part of your negotiations and what you get
Yes.
for demolition and other costs. And I'm glad to hear you moving forward tonight, because time is of the essence, and there